one note. And that is to make sure that I reminded myself to tell you that people come up to me all the time and go, oh, you're so much thinner than you are on TV. TV. It makes me look like the fat boy on the trampoline, and I'm quite slim. Look, those people can't tell, but you guys can. Do you know what? All I really wanted to do was tell you an example tonight of how reality is definitely not better on television. I wanted to tell you a true story about a television show being filmed in the early 70s, here in Melbourne actually. It was a program called New Faces, and in this particular episode that I wanted to tell you about, two contestants came on. Contestant number one was a magician. Oh, I love magicians. How good are they? They're so good. I'm David Blaine. I'm in a box. Now I'm not. He's just, oh, magic. It fucking rocks my world, right? Contestant number two was a woman who had no arms. Now, you're not actually allowed to say no arms anymore in the open forum. You have to say sans arms, or with an arm-type disability that doesn't allow from the challenge of the length of the limb to have a stretch out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, but I've got no other way of telling her that she had no arms. And she was in a television studio in the early 70s singing Stand By Your Man. Now, for some people will know that within the chorus there are the lines, give him two arms to cling to. So I'm not here to make fun. This is factual. Anyway, so they popped her on a couple of bales of hay to make her feel welcome, and this all went on in the rehearsal in the afternoon, right? It totally goes to plan. The magician has a rather spectacular trick with a great big silver plate that he lights up with a match, and up comes some flames, and he put a dome over the top, and when he took the dome off, 6 doves flew out. Now, even if you don't like magic, that's a very impressive trick, right? But that's not actually what happened live to air on the night. So when he had the great big silver plate that he lit up with his match, and he put his dome over the top, and when he took the dome off, the 6 doves flew out on fire. It's a true story. Every one of them on fire, steaming, burning and screaming, and off into the lighting cages. Now, all anyone saw at home was a flash of light and the magician go... Apparently the audience were visibly distressed at what had gone on as the birds screamed their way into the ceiling. It can't have been very nice, right? So they decided to very quickly get the cameras over to contestant number 2, who was waiting patiently on her bales of hay. Now, there's a job in television called a cable basher. What they do is, when the cameras need to move really quickly, as they did in this instance, the cable bashers bash the cable like a snake. They go and they let the cameras move super quickly across the floor, right? The cable basher bashed the cable, but he bashed the cable so hard that it hit woman. She gets a little bit confused. He drags it back thinking he can reflick it because the cameras still need to move quickly, but in doing so creates a lasso-type scenario around her legs. True story, lifts her up off the bales of hay, down onto the studio floor where she's lassoed by the legs. She can't get up, she's got no arms. Is doing circle work in the middle of 22 Bendigo Street, Richmond. No one knows what to do. The audience are just beside themselves by this point, but the people at home have got no idea what's gone on when the floor manager runs over and picked her up by the tits. Picked her up by the tits, put her back onto the bales of hay, and go, sing. So all we see at home is just this poor girl who's got no arms sitting on a bale of hay going, sometimes it's hard to be a woman. You'll be thinking, well, you're not wrong. Giving all your love to just one man. As all the doves started to die, one by one, swat! Bang, bang, bang! All around her. Television cameras can't see that. She's on some bales of hay thinking I'm about to go up like a thrupney bugger. But I do think about that woman when people say to me, oh, God, I've had a bad day. No, think that's not a bad day, doll. A bad day is hanging on a bit of hay with no arms, waiting to sing your song, and all of a sudden you're on the floor lassoed. Someone picks you up by the tits. That's the happy Christmas bit. Hello, lover. And you've got to start singing while dodging some burning birds. That's a bad day. But there's no such thing as reality on TV. I rest my case.